4, 3, 2, 1.
It's an absolutely stunning climax to the Chess World Cup in India. Playing with the white pieces, no way. Yi pushes the king pawn to start the game. That's Wei Yi, the Chinese chess grandmaster. His opponent keeping it solid and steady, pushing the king pawn back, is Yavakir Sindarov from Uzbekistan. They've already drawn their 2 classical games. They're into these rapid play tie breaks. Game 1 drawn, we're now to game 2, and one of these guys becomes world chess champion. Sorry, World Cup chess champion.
Hey bro, look, FIDE just announced a new world championship.
It's already happening, no? In Goa in November.
No, that's World Cup. That's not world championship. It's different.
There's too many things going on, right? No one can keep up. As you can see, we see a Gucci Reza piano on the board here. Knight f6 played. This is chess history in the making. Wait till you see the climax of this fantastic game. Bishop c5, a bit more aggressive, but bishop e7 played. Castles by both players. Quick king safety fist bump. Exploded out. They do it right. Here's what it looks like when it goes wrong. Never pretty. Now we see the knight develop here and not the pawn. I mean, this is the kind of thing you see up and down the country at a junior chess tournament. Get all your bits out. If you want to play great opening chess, have a look at Lotus Chess in the description. The best opening chess app out there. You don't even feel like you're learning. It's just fun. Now we see this pawn push here and a4. A boss move. Gives the bishop some room, gains some space, and now bishop g4. Looking to give up the bishop pair and dominate the d4 square. Of course you don't want to blunder your queen, plus you need to cover this pawn. This is the game. Pawn to c ships, prepares to push d5, and this is the massive strategic battle that now ensues. First off, Wei Yi drops back the bishop. It's prophylactic chess, meaning to guard against something before it happens. It's why some chess players wear goggles to tournaments. You don't want to get anything in the eye, spittle or dust or debris. You want to be able to see those pieces nice and sharp and clear. Now we see knight e6. Looks weird to remove it from the outpost, but it stops pawn f4. At least not without losing your bishop pair. So rook e1 is played here. Again playing against d5 because it pressures e5. So queen c7 adds some overprotection. Queen d7 possible, connects those rooks. Bishop e3, and it's a tiny bit annoying. Stops rook a to d8, or the pawn drops, although you have to be careful because you don't want to get trapped with b6. So maybe you go sort of a5 first, then take the pawn. Either way, black can do this or this, played in the game. Though you can now use that as a hook, a theme that comes up later. Queen f3 on the board, and it looks kind of odd there. You know, are you blocking the f-pawn? Well, that's no longer the plan. The rook moved. Now it overprotects this d5 square. Rook a d8 on the board. You could centralise this second white cannon, but we see the aggressive pawn h4. Completely changing the character of the position. Modern chess, g4 could be on the way, but not after queen d7. If you dare try it now, then you can jump with this knight, takes, and where before this would have been a nice structure for white with the pawns back here, f4 coming one day, it's no longer, because the g-pawn drops. There's an x-ray attack once the queen steps to d7. So, no aggressive stuff like this. Queen h3 instead. X-rays that black queen. You could now play d5 or h6. Keeping an eye on these ideas at some point. But this was played. a5 can be played for the hook. But we get the very committal move instead. Bishop takes on e6. Giving up the legendary bishop bear. Why would you do that? Well, Wei Yi wants to simplify the position, open the eyes of his rook, and if queen takes, well, he can take these off, get rid of his own slightly clumsy looking queen. But Sindarov plays f takes on e6, a more ambitious move, leaving that clumsy queen over here. Knight b1 arguably best now to go to d2 and f3, or just protect the centre, but knight e2 played. d5 finally comes on the board. The knight rotates around, lovely jubbly, but it's a little bit clumsy. It's like watching an amateur chess player try and maneuver like Magnus. Somehow when you try it out, the pieces all end up on the wrong squares. He makes it look so easy. This is how Wei Yi played here, holding everything together, but these ones a bit weird. And now you could play c3, rook e2, but h5's on the board. A big space gain. You don't want to allow this. And then g6. And you've got a permanent lovely square for the bishop on g5. So this is best. You'd love to maneuver the knight now. f1, h2, f3, h4, g6. That kind of thing. But the centre needs protection. So first we get rook e2. Again, prophylactic. Black could go for this plan. Open up the bishop. Bring the knight in. But instead this one's played, also logical. Rook e1 on the board, pressuring the e-pawn, and that's why bishop d6, overprotecting. Bishop now backs up, opens the eyes of the rooks, and after Sindarov doubles here on the f-file, we get bishop c3. Threat is to now take, and then with this gargantuan pressure on the centre, you win a pawn, and that's why we see the centre closed. Why would Wei Yi provoke this? Well, it's so now there's no longer pressure on his centre and he can maneuver this bad boy. But first it's Sindarov's turn to have some fun, and he plays the overpowered move. Pawn c5. He sets up a fantastic connect 4 in the World Cup final. He only goes and wins himself this stunning piece of artwork. It's actually a self-portrait painted by Gukesh D. Now we see this pawn go to b3 to protect the a-pawn. Queen started attacking it once you pushed here. Whoops. This move was now played in response, preparing to run the queenside pawns, and now knight f1. Dad's absolutely ashamed. What are you doing back here, you massive loser? Go and get a job. Queen e8's on the board, and it x-rays this weak pawn. You feel this has to come at some point, but first rook a1. Rook e7 opens the queen's attack. Surely now g4, to push or not to push? Not to push. No way, says Yi at this point. Dad's proud, he's back out there. Queen c8's played, looks to expand on the queen's side, but knight f1. This is getting ridiculous. We're going to have to start charging rent. b5's on the board, knight h2. The point is revealed. Hang on a minute, this is a classy manoeuvre. The explosive c4 in response. Takes. They all go into the blender, and now best move by far is knight to f3. This wasn't played. We're in Batcave analysis mode. It's strong because you can now really seriously look at g4, g5, very well supported, or you can rotate here to here, maybe first after you've covered the pawn. But this was played in the game. It's not as precise because first you can close up the queen side, strong because this is an advanced pawn, could be helpful in the end game, and you fix this weakness. Both moves playable, but this gets a bit tactically scary. So Wei Yi goes to e1. Takes first with check. Now goes to e1. That's why I got mixed up. And that trade of knights has actually helped black. But watch out. The bishop's bouncing round. That's why the prophylactic rook f to f7. f3 anyway. Here it comes. Sindarov's going on the queen side. Rook d1. You could have taken, but he wants to cover his back rank. Rook a2 invades, of course. Here comes the bishop, and now rook b7. The second cannon looking to blast its way in. Queen g4 x-rays the king, and look at the eval bar. I mean, you somehow feel black's had a bit the better of it, but Wei Yi's hanging in there. The structure's now closed, and watch this. Queen e8's played, spinning round to defend the king, but now king h2. Why would you step into the line of the bishop? Well, we see this, now this, defended, king h7, and king g2. And within the space of a few moves, Wei Yi is ready to expand with pawn f4. Where's Sindarov's play? What does he now do? His pawn breaks are stymied. His rooks are blasting, but they're covered. Meanwhile, these guys can prepare an attack. So he drops back. Rook f1 starts to prepare that move. Rook b7, bit shuffly. And now f4. Where Yi would roar like a mighty chess lion, but he's far too humble for that. He just gives a nod in appreciation of the expansion. We see takes, and now we get the pawn cracking through the centre. This is the massive point. Of course, you can't take again. Whoops, you drop a queen, bishop's under fire. Amazingly, top move is takes, rook takes, and then taking here with check. Second rook joining, you get enough play for the piece, apparently. Very difficult to determine. They're low on time, so the bishop heads for c5, and now rook takes on f4. What play by Wei Yi. He's turning it around. Queen e8 goes for that long diagonal, but Wei Yi calmly doubles the rooks, saying, "Sir, please check me if you dare." Guess what happens? The king steps to h3, and you've actually just taken the queen away from the defense of the king. The rooks could be headed in, maybe not to f8, but it's dangerous, right? In some lines, you sacrifice a bishop and all sorts. This isn't the move, and if you check, this doesn't help. White's doing well here. This kind of amazing thing. I mean, what lines? If you take, this is one follow-up mate. Look at that. Let's run to the game. No check was played. We saw rook a1 instead, and it sets up that devilishly tricky idea. And that's why queen f3 is best. You must cover that check now. Rook b to b1, and what is going on? Two rooks now invaded in behind enemy lines. Queen e4 check, best move. King back to g8, and now the pawn's about to drop. Queen there, then it's in and behind. Best way to play? Queen to g6. Although you double the pawns, that is a horrible pawn to have, constricting your king. Game goes on. White could one day run in here. I mean, white's for choice, but this was missed. Wei Yi goes into Mr. 1 second mode, playing when his flag's about to drop, just making the moves, and pushes g4. This is where the Chess-Based India commentary team are freaking out.
Oh my God, time!
Oh no, he did
No
not.
way he played that 1 second way.
Again.
How did the clock not drop? That's insane.
No way, he has this insane ability.
I mean, I love the energy those guys bring. Go and check out that channel. Subscribe. It's fantastic. Yes, you cover the pawn, but you weaken the bishop critically. It's about to drop. So the king steps up. Watch this. Look at the time. 11 seconds. What? Still 11 seconds. Why? Because they get 10 seconds back per move. So that means he's made that move with 1 second on the clock. When you watch him do it, it's like slow motion. It's not even phased. I mean, even Chil Liren, his compatriot from China, is getting worried at this point. Normally so relaxed, but forced to chew a nut. The evaluation is completely level, but it's so misleading because bishop e7, now double whammies this one. So we'd see takes, queen recaptures, the invasion is coming. How do you stop it? You don't. What you have to play here is king g2 and run for the hills, run for your life. Because now when the queen invades, there is a drawing move. But good luck finding this. How do you think white makes the draw? Rook f8 check. Very well done if that one occurred to you. You're definitely on track to become World Cup champion or draw the game anyway. Check. And this is the point. You can force a perpetual, but be careful. Don't now check from c8 and try and worm your way in, because now the king steps here and you don't have a check here. There's a pawn in the way. So you have to be a little bit precise and keep checking from this diagonal so that you can run back here if the king steps to h7. It's a draw. Missed. No king g2. The low time catches up with Wei Yi. He plays rook takes on d4. And the death knell sounds, I was going to say tolls, sounds for his World Cup journey. check, king f4. You have so many winning moves. Pick your poison. Rook e1 from Sindarov. Queen saves herself. And now check, king back, and check. Resigns the game because there's nothing to be done. Pick a square. You lose an entire rook. There's no counterplay. It's checkmate soon to follow. Oh, and no perpetual check. I didn't check this one. Right, okay, because the central square is covered. Or you could even take with the rook if you're feeling slightly less generous. Sindarov becomes World Cup champion. He's just 19 years old, about to turn 20 in a couple weeks apparently, and he's the youngest World Cup winner ever. It's chess history. Hope you loved this one, and have a look at the video on screen in case you missed this phenomenal game played the other day in the World Cup. It really blew our minds. Thanks a lot. Check out Lotus Chess and see you soon.